Hi, my name's Alisha Salcedo. Welcome to my Week 6 Multimedia Discussion, Judicial ADRs. In this presentation, I'm going to be reviewing Early Neutral Evaluation, Dispute Resolution Board, Mini Trial, Summary Jury Trial, and a news article that reflects on one of the judicial ADRs. For early neutral evaluation, E&E, the book just defines E&E as when there is a third party who reviews the conflict in the argument um, between the groups of people who are arguing, and then just giving them a legal opinion of what they should do. In the article that I found, the early neutral evaluation, the second phase, they do an experiment with 67 cases. They send out a questionnaire just to figure out if this did work for them and if they should continue with this process of the E&E and the court system. And they did find out that it was successful. And this was very similar to the topic that was in the book, just because they kind of went into depth of why E&E worked. And they just went through the step-by-step process that E&E does to show that how it works and how it's actually an ADR. And then this article just expanded on E&E, just giving me more in depth of the step-by-step process. How the litigators and even the lawyers, they found that it was very useful to prevent people from going to court, to try and just get an idea of maybe they can settle it beforehand, even just trying to figure out if this is something that they're willing to continue with the process. In Dispute Resolution Board, the textbook just defined it as when there is a ADR, a professional ADR, who is assigned to review the conflict that's going on between the parties. Then he is then giving his legal opinion that's non-binding. In the article that I did find for Pick a Forum, Any Forum, a proposal for a federal dispute resolution board, it kind of just went over where there was a company that was having some issues with their employees. There was different unions also involved. So then they basically just condensed all of the unions into a single group. They hired a panel of people within the company just to review the conflict and to give out different opinions and options for them. Um, and then this did work out for them just because they were able to save time and save money and just to have all the issues handled so quickly. And then this was just very similar to the textbook because they did hire someone specifically for this task, and they were able to condense it and come up with the resolution, preventing it from further going to litigation. And then this article just kind of went into depth of like the process that they actually went through, so it kind of just gave me a broader sense of how it actually works. For mini trials, the book just defines it as informational exchange. Basically, it should only be 2 to 3 days where each side just prevent their argument against each other, and this is just voluntarily. There is no binding contract. The article that I found, roles of participants in the mini trial, this article just kind of went into depth how the United States Engineering Corps, how they're constantly dealing with mini trials because it does save them tons of money. They're able to just work together, figure out the discussions, and going through a step-by-step process of what they have to deal with. So this information does relate back to the textbook because it just basically describes what the textbook was just saying. So, the engineers, corps, they're meeting with other people who they're having conflicts with, especially because if they're trying to design or build stuff on special land or property, there's going to be some type of conflict there, especially if they're not in agreement that this should be happening. And then this article just really just further expand the process in itself, just letting me know that problems are going to happen and they're very prepared for this, and they actually do believe that the mini trial is going to solve a lot more issues, especially to prevent people from going to court, just because they're actually able to talk to each other, to go against each other and just debuttal within the 2 to 3 days, giving them enough time to actually fully understand what is going on. For summary jury trial, the book just refers it as basically after a mini trial. the parties will have a verdict explained to them. It's a non-binding contract still, so they don't have to meet up to it, but they can use this as a reference to see if they wanted to to go to litigation or if they can just settle it in the courts. The article that I did find by Thomas, Summary Jury Trials, it's just a step-by-step explanation of how the process works, how to prepare for it, explaining that the jurors are still giving truthful verdicts, and what should you do once you have that verdict. So this was just very similar to what the book was just reporting, because it just basically self-explanatory, just stating that, this is just your summary of what's going to happen if you guys actually did go to court. So the article just kind of just further expanded on that, and it just gave me a realization that this is actually helpful because this is kind of probably like a smoother transition here, like it's just laying out the facts, so when you do go to court it's not getting messy, you're not kind of like guessing what's going to happen. This is just preparing you for what could happen. The news article that I found, Colin Country's Courts Conduct State First Zoom Summary Jury Trial. This is actually just relating to the book because in this news article they kind of just gave a description of what summary jury trial is, went into depth of how the process worked, and then this is the first time that the county was actually doing it through Zoom. It was just a virtual experience, especially for the jurors, just to try it out, just to see if they need to continue the process due to the pandemic that's going on. So I thought that it was really interesting that they were actually able to combine technology and this ADR together to try to make it work for people. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.